clitoris though.
No, you don't.
Don't fuck the.
You stroke it, or you ask her how she likes it done.
Well, technically, you rub in a circular motion while licking your tongue up in one.
It's all about the female.
It is true.
What she likes.
This is not even close to what we're supposed to talk about today. So with that, let's jump into
today's
episode
in the things that we talked about, though.
You know, that was my intro, and you just stepped all over.
Exactly.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Escaping Podcast.
The best podcast in Colorado Springs when it comes to all things geek, nerdy, and everything in between.
And by everything in between, he means the words forming the sentence that I tried to make before Roscoe jumps in with his opinion. I am your host, Daniel Rojas, joined by...
Kills for Show, a.k.a. the toxic male Avenger.
Okay.
Yo, somebody got to protect our rights.
No, man. Who was it? Who did that commercial? Gillette.
There was a lot
boys will be boys, and then they're like, "Oh man, don't do that." It was like, stop the toxic masculinity.
Yeah.
Well,
And then, I mean, I am about that, but also Gillette, you don't get to tell me what to do as a corporation. I believe in that, and I'm glad that we're on the same side of this. But when the revolution comes, where will you hide? Today, joining us, you've heard him on the show that he does with Kelsey. He is the one, the only, the undisputed Roscoe Tenkoya.
Dang, you ain't even gonna say I've been on here multiple times before?
You stepped on my intro, Ross.
Exactly.
I didn't mean to. I'm high. Like every good, non-good killer, death victim in 80 horror movies.
Kind of.
The stoner always dies.
The stoner has to die.
The stoner always dies.
That makes
Comic relief too.
I
did step on them.
I'll get to that in a second because I want to talk about the ritualistic nature of it, which Cabin in the Woods touched on, but not an 80s movie.
True.
You have the fool, you have the virgin, you have
the archetype.
Exactly. Joining us in spirit but not physically is Michelle, aka No Intro,
a.k.a. asexual.
aka Sexual.
What up?
She is taking some time, and you know what? We can't wait to see her when she gets back. Michelle, we're lonely here without you, but you know what? Your spirit makes the room feel at least 3 degrees cooler.
Oh, because she's cold like a ghost.
There it is.
Word.
Yeah.
Respect. I ain't even mad at that.
So we are at the final part of our 80s horror series.
It's the final part.
It's the final.
Dun.
It's the
Of our
final.
part. Spooky series.
Ghosts and goblins.
This is what happens when Bombshell's not here.
That's what I'm saying. The structure. We used to do this show without her, and then
And then there was structure.
and there was structure before.
We had somebody to feel responsible.
That's right.
Or feel responsible
This is
for
what-
keeping a professional type environment.
But there is no professional type environment when we talk about today's subject, part 4. Usually we do the best of the worst, but today we're doing B movies. And Roscoe, that's why we have you on here. There's one that I know you're really excited to talk about.
Oh, that would be my favorite, Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
What is a killer clown from outer space?
Oh, well, literally what the title says. A killer clown from outer space.
This isn't code for the Russians or,
No, it's
the
just
Red Scare or anything.
No, this is the reason why you should not trust random carnivals in the middle of the woods.
That is true. And it's one thing, too, I was about to get all comic booky with it, like, what's the origin of the clown planet? Is it like one big planet-sized circus tent?
Well, we were supposed to find out in the sequel, which never came.
Yeah.
That's true. So, basic premise of this movie there, Roscoe.
Clowns came from outer space, putting people in cotton candy with their ray guns.
Okay,
killing people?
Hold on. See, you're just kind of glossing over it. I want to know how this shit works.
You asking somebody how something works that doesn't have no true explanation of how shit works.
Okay.
Which makes it a B movie.
So the clowns, right?
They
all
come
from outer space. They crash land, I think,
in the middle of the woods.
In the middle of the woods. There's a spaceship.
Some kids.
Oh, now you know what the movie's about.
If y'all wanted full detail,
literally that's what he asked.
But in full detail. See, this is why Mother Michelle needs to be here to bring the kids down.
No. We knew what to have.
But it's literally started off with make out hill, make out camp, make out point.
There's always a make out point.
Yeah.
But some chick not truly interested in making out with her boyfriend ends up noticing a yellow beam of light and landing down, convinces him to go to this light at the same time.
Now, I don't want to be that person, but in my rewatch of this movie, and I say this with the utmost respect, that's some white people shit.
It is white people.
First
shit.
off,
That's
she's
why
bored
there's
enough.
no white people in the movies.
What's hilarious is she's bored enough from being made out that she notices this beam of light and
Which
says,
means
"Let's go
his tongue
explore."
action cannot be that good.
True,
But if you're listen, listeners, if you're good at what you do and if you're good at making out, the person's not going to get bored.
unless she's already bored, then it's already a lose-lose situation.
You know what? That's a great point. She had nothing better to do on this night. She said, might as well call up Ricky, Tommy, Davey, whoever the fuck.
It's one of them white women.
And you know what? We're going to go make out for a bit. I got nothing better to
There's
do.
a Kevin to Steve.
Oh, thank God there's a light. I'm saved from this dude. He is basically eating my face.
Let's go explore
And
this.
not in a good way either.
Right. Now, Kelsey, can you tell me what the good way is?
Of eating the face?
Yeah.
All right, first you want to make sure the face is at least 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Mind you, moisturized. If you have any type of edible lubes, that could help. Or a nice jam, because it's sticky.
What flavor jam?
Strawberry.
Okay, yes.
Strawberry,
Yes,
of
I
course.
fuck with it.
Yes. And then you go at it. You want to start off with a slight nibble just to see the softer parts of the face because you just don't want to go in on a rough patch.
Mm-hmm.
And also, if you're older, you got to know what side of your mouth you're going to use. 'Cause you got to know your bad teeth from the good teeth.
You know what?
Exactly.
Only in America do we have terms like bad teeth and good teeth.
Exactly. Yo, back row for show.
That's right. You know, you
That was a
those
Rosa
choppers.
Parks joke there, but I was not about to make it.
Sometimes the most important teeth are in the back.
Yeah, because they're the black ones.
And so we must take our wisdom teeth and replace them with our chompers. No, don't do
Yo.
that. Don't do that.
That would fuck up your whole
I know.
structure.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
wouldn't be able to pronounce words properly.
You look like Jumbo.
I mean, I already don't pronounce words correctly, so you know.
Word, because you don't speak the native tongue.
There it is.
Because the native tongue was stolen from you. Then they repurposed that with some new English that's old
Well,
English.
you know, we all come from Africa anyway.
Yes.
Pangea.
Yes.
So
Umbabe.
in this movie, it's so fucking wild because the way that they're doing all this stuff. At one point, even the shadows are attacking.
Oh, but that's
that shit did happen.
That's great. But low key, that's hilarious because even more funny is greatest scene of all time for me.
Yeah.
It's the Burger King biker scene.
Burger King biker scene.
Yo, they fucked up them bikers.
Yep,
at
break it
Burger
down.
King.
Break it down. What happened there?
All right, so bikers go to Burger King. They chilling,
Already making.
grooving
Actually,
out.
no, I can't say it's a bad choice because
No,
Burger
it's
King in
the
the 80s.
80s.
Burger King in the 80s.
Delicious.
Primo.
Yo, Burger King still slap to this day, though. Put it on the
Truth on the right,
I
baby.
haven't had Burger King in a long time. Maybe I need to try it again.
Yeah.
You know you want a Whopper, baby.
I'm more of
Like
a Carl's
Whopper.
Jr. guy myself.
I ain't mad at that. They
I ain't mad at it,
pound for
but-
pound, Carl's Jr.'s do have.
Grilled cheeseburger. Or,
No,
yeah,
the grilled cheese. Yeah,
cheeseburger. Ooh.
they have pound for pound the best burger.
And they brought back the rodeo burger at Burger King,
You know what?
and that's
And
my life,
I will
baby.
say that is where I will take an onion ring.
That's where life is at, baby.
So
But
they're at the best place you can be.
They're at Burger King, chilling, being bikers, you know. So next thing you know, you hear this nice little old motorcycle about to come. You see the lights coming up. Next thing you know, you see this little old short clown on a tricycle, parked next to him, and then the biker leader's just like joshing and joking on him to the fact that
Dunking on him even.
he asked the clown, does he want to fight? The clown jumps off screen, lands back in screen with boxing gloves, in the best line ever in history. What you gonna do? Knock my block off.
And what does he do?
Uppercuts him, and his whole head comes off his body, lands in the trash can, body flops to the ground. He pulls out his ray guns and starts to shooting, and everybody's running away on their bikes. And he lets out one of the great things that I love about this movie is the clowns laugh, but they have a alien satanic kind of laughter to it. So yeah, they look deformed and everything.
You know, you can't judge a clown based off of its, face.
Oh,
Makeup.
It's makeup.
in another great scene, pizza delivery, which also has 3 of the main killer clowns. 2 of them show up to deliver pizza.
Which is a
Already hilarious.
It's already
because
a-
it's
How they didn't know where to go with the pizza?
true.
that's
Secondly,
Oh my God.
why are clowns delivering pizza?
It's Halloween.
I mean, I don't know
It wasn't even Halloween.
Oh, the show was.
I'll
It
tell
was
you
a
what,
random day.
When I worked at Papa Murphy's, I knew a few clowns that delivered pizzas. Hey.
Wonka.
But
Waka.
chicks all nice and accepting for the pizza. Pizza box opens. It's a clown in the pizza box. The first introduction of the ray gun. Shoots her. She turns into cotton candy. And just like, what the hell?
Yes, and the reason why people are getting turned into cotton candy is because it's a cocoon effect, and then they'll take these human-sized balls of cotton candy back to the ship, put them in like these little sockets, and then they stick a crazy straw in these bitches and slurp out the blood. So now we find out these clowns are vampiric to a nature, like they feed off of human blood, quote unquote. Okay. And just to see these fucking clowns drink human blood through a crazy straw. Yes, out of these big slabs of cotton candy. It's just nuts. And then you have the little creatures in the popcorn that is like these demonic, like motherfucking parasitic clown jack in the boxes that pop out the popcorn and just snatches motherfuckers and eat them and nibble on them and shit.
Now, that makes me think, because when I was a kid, I was terrified of Captain Crunch. Because I was out there.
Horatio?
He was out there crunchitizing kids.
Oh yeah.
They turned into the cereal that he's selling.
Yeah.
Tell me that they all came back.
I forgot about that commercial.
No, that was for a long time. And then I saw Killer Clowns from Outer Space as a kid, and I'm like, that's that same shit. Like it's cotton candy, it's Captain Crunch, it's Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Exactly. Then you had to see when Shorty was taking a bath, she reach over in the hamper to get to that little clown pop. I'm like, ow! She like, ow! I was like, yo, fuck me up.
But what's even more,
check all your laundry baskets.
But what's even more hilarious is she never ate popcorn, but that's how they introduced the popcorn creatures. They just said, guess what? She had popcorn on her.
And another thing too, because every monster, quote unquote, has to have its weakness, and the weakness for the clowns were their noses. And if you punch them in the nose, they will blow. If you
pop their nose,
they pop their nose.
They'll spin in a circle and then just blow the fuck up. Which is even more hilarious when you come to the point at the end of the movie where you find out that the remaining people that know how to stop the clowns, go into the spaceship, which happens to be a carnival tit that stated from earlier, that has everything in there. Bullshit funhouse, merry-go-round, bumper cars.
I need some
maze.
That's all great, but I need some Hackney music. I need some corn dogs. I need some funnel cake. I need an overpriced giant soda.
It was like Arcade's level from Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1. That's what that shit was.
That is a deep cut, and I love it.
But when you get to the center, you are introduced to Jumbo the Giant Clown, which fell down from the sky with puppet strings on them. And
inside of a circus tent spaceship.
And you gotta wonder what kind of drugs were the people that made this movie doing to be like, this is gonna
I want to
slap.
see the clown society. Like, do they go from planet to planet doing this shit?
You ready for the fun fact? The brothers that produced it were mostly known for doing the special, like, kind of effect, like the claymation shit for the Simpsons and whatnot.
These were practical effects folks who said, let's just make a whole movie where we use mostly practical effects.
I just know that this was the practical effects people. This was their directorial debut.
That. Okay, so I mean, do you think at some point they knew that they were kind of trolling the audience?
I remember back in the 80s, B movies were just like, we can push these out.
They came out as many as you needed.
So,
well, speaking of trolls, Kelsey, you had one movie you want to talk about too.
Man, I don't want to talk about this whole too much. Because this shit used to scare the shit out of me as a kid. It is literally the worst movie ever made.
Oh, Showgirls.
No. I mean, literally. You look it up, it's been dubbed, it's coined, it has the prestige to become the worst movie of all time.
That movie with Britney Spears when she was on the road trip with her friends.
Oh, no, that's, shit. Fuck. That's when she had the, I'm Not a Girl, Not
Yeah.
Fuck. What was that called?
Crossroads,
yes. And Zoe Saldana was in that too as well.
Was.
But no, it's the movie Troll. Like, look it up, Google it. There's a whole film festival dedicated to watching this movie because it's so bad. And the troll in that movie used to haunt my dreams because it was so grotesque looking. Just like the trolls from Ernest Scared Stupid.
They did look like them trolls.
fuck to this
Ernest
day.
Scared Stupid fucked me up as a kid.
That fucked me up too. Cause they look like those trolls from that Gnome show, William the Gnome or whatever that nigga name was.
What?
But Troll, that movie fucked me up. It was It wasn't scary, like for the like jump scares, none of that. Yeah, that shit. Oh god, none of that shit. It was no real gore. He was just an ugly motherfucker.
It was just the creature itself that was scary.
Yeah, the creature itself.
I'm looking at these pictures right now, and you know.
And it's one thing too, like he gets turned to a troll, and then the son at the end of the movie, come in his house, think it was all like a dream and some shit. Nope, your daddy a troll too now, and guess what? Your mama a troll now. I was like, what the fuck? How you escape this shit?
Okay, but fine, but to quote Syndrome, if everyone's a troll, then no one will be.
No, that's not how that works. You're still a fucking troll. You nasty ass, gooey ass, motherfucking trolls.
So. What was it that scared you so much about this movie as a kid?
It was just the fact of what, like I said, the way he looked and the fact that there was no real means to its destruction. Because even once you thought he was dead, psych, he was still alive. He turned your whole family into fucking trolls and slime monsters and shit.
Okay.
So it's the inability to defeat the adversary, more or less. Man, like I say, it's creepy as fuck.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I'll give you that.
It's the visual. It's the visual. It's
So B movies, right? We talked last week about how, this is a long fucking intro for this too. But you know what? Hey, this is how it goes this time.
Hey, you can't tell us how to make our butter, baby. We churn it out. We churn it out. Churn.
It's churn.
Churn.
It's churn.
I said churn.
It's churn.
Churn.
It's churned.
Yeah, churn.
Cha.
Cha.
No.
No.
Churn.
Churn.
Okay.
I see the coming. I see the coming.
I was waiting. All right, we gotta do it. All right.
So B movies. It's the difference between, big budget, I guess, and smaller budget. Unfortunately, sometimes that means better actors, shittier actors. But there's a level of heart that hits behind this.
Oh,
Like I kind of like the idea of making B movies,
Yeah, because
not the one with Jerry Seinfeld and that guy who hit those two women in the car and got away with it. Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, he did.
He did.
There's a lot of celebrities.
but
that
there
got away
are
with
some
shit.
that become cult classic. Like one of my favorites, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Right, and before we get into that, because I do want to talk about that movie, which I think is great. I think the people that make B movies actually care.
They do.
I think they're having a great time.
For most people that are doing B movies, this is their debut.
Yeah.
It's either their writing debut, their directorial debut, their production debut. It's somebody's
It's
debut,
something.
and they're passionate about it, and they were given a chance, so they put their heart into it. And sometimes it's more of just like the people, even if the movie comes out bad, they know they had a good time.
Well, and, what were you gonna say, Kelsey?
I was just gonna say, people that go into it making B movies have the passion. It's when your movie turns into a B movie, but you took it seriously. It was your baby. It's your project. You wanted it to be this masterpiece of horror, of cinema. And everybody was like, nah, bro, that shit's bad. Then you get the disgruntled directors and writers, the humps and rumps.
But then you've also got folks, and I know he's not an 80s director, but Tommy Wiseau thought that The Room was going to be the drama that, sparked a generation. And then when and then when people, started like, laughing about it, that's when he was like, oh, I always meant it to be this.
Oh, no. I wanted to be naked. These are my clothes. Jokes on you guys.
Yeah, like, okay.
Gotcha.
Oh, you know what? I don't think you did, though. I think that you thought this was gonna really change cinema.
You didn't think this was a joke?
But then you've also got, I know that this is an easy target, and I know some of the movies are funny and some of them are good, but it's the Adam Sandler effect. It's
True.
one of those, because he's the epitome of, I'm gonna eat, we're all gonna eat,
Yes.
And I like to think that the people making these B movies kind of have the same thing. Like, you know what? We got a weekend. My buddy over here, I know, can scream. This one over here, I know can, put on this makeup.
She doesn't mind showing her titties.
That's,
We all seen them.
There is some B movies that are like that.
Exactly.
That is just like, it's me and my friends. We wanted to do a movie. We got the money to.
Voila.
We're doing a movie.
But
Boom.
isn't there some magic to that? Isn't there
There is some
like,
to it, but there's also some good things too. Of like one of the things that I have liked in this current generation is Eli Roth. He's a B movie.
Okay.
He's a B movie fan. Most of his movies, literally after Hostel, are nothing more but him making
Big budget B movies.
big budget B movies.
That's exactly right.
Piranhas was a B movie that was so hilariously bad, but yet good back in the 80s that he reinvented and just was like, let's do this. And still did the whole 3D effect because I want to say that Piranhas
It was
had
Piranhas
3D.
No, it was 3D.
No, but I'm saying the 80s version was 3D, I want to say
exactly.
as well.
That's why they did.
And it was one of those things where you could see the trailer and it's like, and everyone in the theater goes,
And just like we just talking about Eli Roth, then we had like the Grindhouse movies, which was a throwback to the old 70s and 80s B type movies, but with a bigger budget. But they still respected it and made it feel like it was a vintage film.
Yeah.
If you watched it right now, you couldn't really tell if it was from back then or not. So you can't respect the craft of the B movie.
See, and you know, we've kind of talked about it. We've kicked around the idea once or twice where, you know, we would like to eventually, you know, make our own just dumb, quick, short films.
Oh, yeah, it's going to happen. I can't wait for my B movie to pop off.
My question is then, what is it that separates it, or where's that line? When does it go from passion and knowing what it is and still making a fun movie to hokey and over the top?
It depends on it's all based on the company. It's literally if the company's really trying to just be like, here, do what you want, then you funnel you the money, yeah. But if it becomes like a hit, sometimes they'll dabble themselves into it.
Let's get a sequel going.
Or sometimes if they're able to pick up a big name or somebody big, they'll try to do something to it and change some things to it.
I was watching something because there's a whole. I was watching a YouTube channel the other day, and this guy was talking about what are they called? Clean flicks. I want to say that's what it is. Basically, it's Christian only Netflix.
Word.
Yeah, and this guy.
So is their own material, or they take movies and they edit them out?
No. It's all original content, ripping off other more popular.
Like the Kids Box version of music.
No. Well, okay. Like there's one that's like a John Wick ripoff.
Okay, but how can you do that if it's for the Christians? Is it Jesus fighting demons?
No, it's a guy who used to be a killer and now he's given his life and he's now a pastor.
Oh, he's killing them with the word of Christ.
No.
He's just a pastor?
He's a pastor.
Did his dog at least die?
No. Oh. But this girl that he knew for a year got kidnapped. And a black woman got killed, like, right off the bat.
Of course.
Yeah.
So he has to go find this girl but not kill anybody?
No, then he starts killing again.
But it's for the Christians.
I know.
But the plot is he was a Christian.
No, I get that, but that defeats the whole point of everything else.
But then at the very end, he's doing it in self-defense, you know.
Oh,
right. Yeah.
But he's supposed to turn the other cheek.
Well, that's the thing.
With a heel kick.
Roundhouse.
Oh, that's a good one.
Roadhouse.
But like at the end of this movie, he gets there, he has the gun, he's aiming it at the
assailant.
His mortal enemy, who's like in this Eastern religious cult. He's a leader or whatever.
Of course, it's Eastern.
And it turns out that he didn't.
Middle Eastern.
No, like I don't know.
Or they
don't specify because they don't need to because it's not Jesus.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So he goes and he has the gun, and of course he doesn't kill him, and he says, "It's not the way," and he takes off. Right now, these movies
Did they blow his house up?
No. Another guy comes up and kills him, which is because you can't have the main character do that, you know.
Yeah.
But these are B movies that are just fucking bad.
Yes.
And the guy on the YouTube page, he was talking about how, you know, there is that fine line. And if you look back at 80s B movies, those were just being churned out left and right.
Yeah.
No one knew what a hit was going to be when they made it.
Exactly.
You know, John Carpenter wasn't always John Carpenter as we know him. All these people were not always the level that we know them at now. A lot of them were making these movies, starring in these movies, even Evil Dead 2, like we talked about, or Army of Darkness. It was kind of scary, the first one, and then they're like, let's just have fun.
Yeah, and then you make your product, and then you see the response, and like, oh, people thought it was funny. There's a lot of laughs. Fuck it, why fight it? Let's do it. Let's make it ridiculous, like Freddy Krueger.
Yes.
After the second one, that's when he became the jokester.
Well, and also,
just like with Evil Dead, that's why the third one ended up being as bad as it was because it was literally the director saying, "I don't want to do what the company wants me to do. I'm doing so. I'm gonna do this like this."
And that's why we got Spider-Man 3. He's like, put Venom in it. I don't want Venom, so they want him. Put him in. All right.
And Sam Raimi's like, watch. not only am I going to shit the bed, I'm going to keep eye contact with you as I do it.
And the great thing too about it,
Emo Spider-Man.
But to go back to what you were
Peter
saying
Parker
about,
never wanted to go to a black parade.
Sometimes, oh my god,
But he wanted his black suit though.
sometimes you just gotta rebel against the company and just say, you know what,
Suck it, Dad.
I'm gonna make a horrible movie so y'all don't
Right.
want another one.
Well, exactly.
Only my
And then
fans.
I'll go do my own thing.
And then when
Sister
y'all let me go,
sabotage.
only my fans will follow me because they know what was going on.
They know what was going on, and that's the thing, and you were saying, sometimes you can get a big name actor. In this movie, the John Wick ripoff, there was some big name actor, and you can tell because his character dies in the first 2 minutes.
Oh, that's how he was paid for a day.
Yeah. They
only had enough for that day shoot.
And so his name is up there. He's on the front of this cover.
Oh yeah, that's that false prophet. That's the one good thing about also 80 movies was they'll put one person in there, make you think he's the lead, only to find out they're like a side character, maybe 15
Goddamn,
minutes.
Johnny
in
Depp
it.
in Nightmare on Elm Street.
First 10 minutes.
This bitch is dead.
Yo, one of the best scenes in cinema history.
Yeah, but
And he doesn't have like only 4 words in that line.
Exactly. And that's
fucking Scream 2. You've got
I will say one of the greatest.
the Entanglement lady.
Jada Pinkett Smith
Jada-
and
Omar.
Omar Epps.
Yep, and they're both on the cover. They're in the front. They die in the first scene.
Oh yeah, Black Effect. But going back to Johnny Depp, that's why I love watching like behind the scene featurettes, especially and watching that Nightmare on Elm Street 5-hour long documentary.
Oh, that was so great.
Just seeing how they shot it and being a kid, like you think it was the ceiling, but you get a little older, like, oh shit, no, they had the bed, they built the bed up, they poured it down. This way it flows. And you can even look at
and
it.
then
You
they
can tell
just
the
flip the
lamps.
camera upside down.
Exactly. And just how creative
so
they
good.
were with that.
That's how great practical effects were back then.
And if Freddy Krueger didn't make money, that would have been a classic B movie. It's all about the income and made it a success.
And that's one of the things that I think is kind of slept on with these B movies, because you can say all you want about CGI or whatever, but at the time, all they really had outside of shitty CGI was practical effects.
But yet also one of the great things about the 80s was it was just getting into the CGI game, and what's even more crazy is how like the birds, they didn't even most of those birds, they didn't really use real birds. They only had like maybe the only time they used real birds in the birds was when she actually got attacked by birds.
Right.
Past that, they were all fake.
Quick question there. What do you have to do to make a bird attack an actress?
They behind the scenes things.
Pheromones.
Behind the scenes that I want to say they had she had some seeds. I forgot how they did it.
There was a sign in.
There was some. I want to say there was
your
some.
mom's a hoe.
Or
There
it
was some
could be like
seeds.
some Sonic, some
They
shit.
were.
Oh shit.
I want to say they put bird seeds on her and whatnot on like
That
her
mean you had to
outfit, but I'm
starve
not
the
sure.
birds then.
Oh yeah.
But I'm not 100%. Just like the original Invisible Man.
Oh yeah.
That wasn't CGI.
Yeah.
That was
No.
all just like a whole using different types of lens on the
Right.
camera.
Well, I mean, look at us now. Look at the technology we have now. Anyone can make a movie, easy.
True.
And a lot of people do, and a lot of people shouldn't. But I like the idea that it's out there. So even if they're bad storytellers, these stories are being told, and it's different than what we've always got. Now, in the 80s, they didn't have, like, quick little green screen technology that we can just buy at Walmart willy-nilly. This was a whole fucking studio. And they're trying to figure out what works and what doesn't.
Some of the greatest things too, Bloody Birthday, didn't even have stunt people. People were doing their own actual stunts, and one of the scenes was
Everyone was Jackie Chan.
Oh, but one of the scenes was having 2 boys drive a car through a junkyard chasing a teenager adult. And then, so just imagine being a kid driving a car.
And that's, because it's like...
Somebody signed off on
It's like what Garrett...
That's how much of a budget most B movies was given.
Exactly. Well, it's like what Garrett was saying last week, where they had a guy actually shooting a gun out the window because they had the ammo and they didn't have enough money to go get blanks. And they're like, well, we have ammo.
Just don't get hit by the
Just
bullet.
don't get hit by this bullet.
Yeah, that's just wild. And then too,
What do you do? That's how... much B movies were. It was just
It's
like
called the 80s. Cocaine.
we don't have insurance, but yet
Just
we
move
don't
real
also
fast.
have stunt doubles. So we're gonna do these stunts if we get
You can't
hurt.
get hit by the bullet if you're not in front of the bullet.
And some of the great things too about B movies was you could tell that certain things were changed on the fly because if they
Yeah.
got hurt, they would change the lineup. Or if they did, or some movies if they didn't have the money but wrote a character that was acted by a big actress or actor, they will replace the actor and actress with no speaking, and you just have to be like, all right, so this
That's
person's
how it's
playing
gonna be now.
this person's playing Dr. Forgan.
So yeah, Jesus Christ.
Yes, that's has happened in a few B movies
Yeah.
where the main actor,
Just
the
replace
big budget,
and no one can say anything.
big budget characters in two-thirds of the movie, and then the act 3, whole other person.
It's wild, but you know what? The fact that they were like, well, we got to finish the movie.
Yeah,
So
budget.
with practical effects, I'd like to hear both of you talk about if you're willing, if you're able, if you're here for the podcast to talk about it. One, Killer Tomato, and the return of the Killer Tomato.
Oh, Attack of the Killer Tomato.
Now, this isn't an allergy thing, right? This isn't like, someone's got a tomato allergy. Why does a tomato kill?
In the cartoon, because that's how because with me, my first introduction into Attack of the Killer Tomatoes was from the early 90s cartoon on Fox, and it was a scientist, of course, using radioactivity to create these tomatoes to do his evil bidding and whatnot. And then one of these tomatoes was kind of mutated and he became basically like the lovable pet of like the humans. But then you have this one
That's
girl.
90s cartoons. That's the same Beetlejuice bullshit.
Yeah, then you had this one girl who's actually a tomato that gets transformed into a human. So in the movies,
yeah, that was the cartoon version. That's how they
Yeah.
That's how they tricked the kid.
and the main dude in the cartoon was in love with the tomato chick, and they had to solve the.
Did she have green hair?
No, she was a blonde with titties.
She's just blonde with titties.
Yeah, you can look it up.
But in the movie, if I recall right, it was actually radioactive pesticides that.
Yeah, that's what I think.
Transmutated
Because they're
the human
spraying the fields.
Which is even more hilarious because we're in 2020. We're out here using radioactive pesticides on food and shit. But yet ain't nobody bringing up the references of Attack of Killer Tomatoes. But
We already spraying all these pesticides and all these poisons on the plants as is, so they don't give a fuck.
But what's even more greatly hilarious was they used this as technically a counterpart to Gremlins, like, because I want to say most of its idea was from like a Gremlin, like the whole "don't let Gremlins multiply."
Right, and that was the thing with these tomatoes. And actually, in Return of the Killer Tomatoes, because that was, 1988?
I want to say.
You know who was in that you may not have recognized?
Who?
George Clooney.
What? And the thing too about these tomatoes, they didn't talk like the cartoon, of course, but they were still big ass tomatoes, and it has very similarities to critters too, because they will do nothing but roll. But once they got to you, they ate your ass.
and then they'll get bigger. It was stupid.
And speaking of that, it reminds me of another B movie, B standing for bunny, called They. I think it was called They. It was like one word, but it was basically about killer rabbits that were mutated by toxic waste, and these rabbits went around through these towns, hopping and jumping and killing motherfuckers.
What?
Yeah.
Hold on. I need a little more on this. What's their motivation? Why?
They just big ass rabbits,
Big
and they
ass
were
rabbits?
mutated, so they grew big ass, and they just hopped around, squashing people and eating them because they were radioactive, and that was the movie.
I will say one of my favorite scenes from Attack of Killer Tomatoes was when the old lady opened up the tomato soup and just all this and then just a big ass tomato just come and attack her. I'm just like, what the hell? All right. And I also just seen one of my favorite funny scenes, which is a military conference meeting.
It's called Night of the Lepus.
Night of the Lepus, well, I call it. Yeah,
I call it that.
I call it a killer rabbit movie because it was. They had. I thought it was. Now I'm thinking about
That's 1972, though.
that. That was
That was still a
no,
big movie.
that was the one with the giant ants. It was called like Them or some shit. It was one title when the giant ants was taking the town and shit. But yeah, that big ass big ass rabbits is out there doing shit though. It's still a B movie, not the 80s, but that shit happened.
Yeah. But they one thing that made Attack of the Killer Tomatoes and just Killer Tomatoes hilarious was the fact that they knew it was a B movie. They treated it like a B movie, and they also treated it like a comedy. So they just literally were just like, we're having fun. Like, to the pure fact that one of the scenes was military dudes in a small conference room talking about their projects, and they named them in their long names, but in short, for code names, they were Misfits and and it's just like, yes, literally, like Misfits pronounced some real long thing, and then it was called PPIT PPP something, but in short they called it so it's like, all right. And then
she transformed with salt and pepper.
Oh yes.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at these pictures, and this tomato is thick.
Yeah,
she transformed with salt and pepper. It was
Kelly
stupid.
Bundy.
And what was great about that 80s show was it came on right after another good 80s cult classic.
She's got those 90s cartoon lips. You know, the freakazoid. Hello nurse. Hello nurse.
And she got the Fast Time at Ridgemont High bikini.
I'm saying.
And it came on right after Police Academy, and then right after them two went straight to Ghostbusters.
Yep, the real Ghostbusters.
Yay! That's how I woke up my Fridays and Saturdays.
Saturday morning. Yeah, they had a black cowboy in that cartoon too.
For no reason.
I'm getting lost on the web now.
You getting lost in the tomato sauce?
Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah.
Of course.
And, of course, the main guy is George Clooney, so... Jesus Christ, look at him.
It's the clone.
It's the clone.
It's the clone.
See, and that's the thing, because with these B movies, that's one of my points, is you never know who's going to make it later on.
You never do.
And then look back on these movies and be like, oh... Jennifer Aniston didn't know she was going to be Jennifer Aniston when she signed up for Leprechaun.
Exactly. That's her best movie to this date.
I don't know. Yeah. Horrible Bosses 2 was pretty good.
That's not her movie, though. I don't give her credit for that.
Who was it? It was Jesus. What is his name? The all right guy. He drives a Lincoln. Matthew McConaughey. He was in a Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie that was garbage, and his acting in it was garbage. And now he's Matthew fucking McConaughey.
Hell yeah.
So looking at these movies, do y'all see any other ones who, like, people who made it out of there and, you know, maybe made a career for themselves other than George fucking Clooney?
Off the top, no.
Yeah, not off the top. I would have to do some research to figure that out.
Pull that up, but no.
I know the main child from Bloody Birthday was ended up being the main child in Cujo.
Oh shit.
Well, if we count in B movies,
but
if we want to count Masters of the Universe as a B movie, then you have Courtney Cox.
You know, would we count that as a B movie?
It's a B movie with a budget.
It's a B movie with a budget.
It's not good.
But it's a B movie though. Because B movies had still good, decent budgets. And
it depends on what you classify B movie.
Yeah.
Because technically, Jaws was supposed to be considered Jaws was given a B movie budget. It just happened to be
It just was that good.
It just happened to change and revolutionize the movie industry.
But it still
summertime hit.
That it's still a B movie.
Yeah, it was still a B movie.
Like Sharknadoes have budgets of millions of dollars. They're
wild
still
to me.
B movies.
You know who would have had on their bingo card Tara Reid making a comeback with Sharknado movies?
Y'all, we still ain't got the last one. I've been waiting for it. Cause it was doing time travel and shit.
So we're kind of getting closer to the end here, and I do want to make some honorable mentions of, you know, one of them being cannibalistic humanoid underground dwellers. Chud.
Chud. I just was watching some shit online about Chud. One of these YouTubers I follow. Shout out to Professor Thorgate. He was doing his top 10 horror movie franchise that need to be rebooted, and Chud was one of them.
Okay, so what is your what's your take on Chud?
Interesting. I'm surprised that concept wasn't done more with New York City and all the sewers, and the alligators, the subways. Like they had Midnight Meat Train that came out a few years ago when they dealt with all that shit happened down there. Fucking Ninja Turtle. Like New York is
Right.
prime for those type of movies. I'm just surprised a lot more movies weren't shot in New York off those urban legends.
Well, and that like we were saying last week, I like to think it's the same mayor, it's the same guy who's dealing with all of this, which is why when the Ghostbusters come in, he's like, "Fuck that, no."
Was
no,
Killer
no,
Croc supposed to be a play off the urban legends of alligators being
Absolutely.
in the sewers and shit?
Yeah.
Yo, but in the animated series, he was a freak from a freak show Carnival. But that's neither here nor there.
But then that's because
That's
people did report alligators in the
Oh, yeah.
sewers.
What was the animator name? Tim.
Oh, fuck me sideways.
Bruce Timm.
Yeah.
The Bruce Timm universe origin of Killer Croc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So going with this, because like I said, we are kind of getting close to the end here. Where do you see the influence from these B movies in what we have nowadays? Do you think some folks go a little too far when they try to be ridiculous and, oh, we know it's not going to be good, so let's make a bad movie for goodness sake?
Most B movies have interpreted good comedy, so most
Or
horror
trying to.
movies usually
Trying to.
try to imply comedy into their horror. Depending on certain things and how much the director or the people that are really behind the scenes that have a good effect, depending on how good like B movies or how much horror movie that they grew up from, they'll usually pay homage to it. I know there's few actors few directors that are just still, we want it to be practical as much as we can, little CGI as much as possible, just because they want it to feel real, not disturb the people's eyes, as well as this is the person that I grew up on watching, and this is how they do it.
So yeah, it's kind of not a tribute, but
more of a trope, as more of one of like an aesthetic style that they always wanted to do.
What about you, Kels? Where do you see that influence in like what we have nowadays?
Well, like I mentioned Sharknado earlier, so 75% of all movies on the Sci-Fi Channel all comes from that B movie pedigree.
Sci-Fi Channel alone was a B movie station.
That's why I watched most of these movies that growing up was on Sci-Fi.
And then they tried to get serious. Remember, like, what was it, 5 years ago? They're like, we're going to make good TV. We're like, why? No.
Well, their television series, yes, but the movie...
They're movies.
Sharktopus, Turtledactyl, Cheat Rhino, or whatever, all those weird combinations of shit, they make money off of those for some reason because they keep making them, and some people just like to see crap in motion. And like I said, then we had the Grindhouse years back. So when you watch these movies, and for some people like me and Ross that dive down to more indie things, a lot of B movies are just indie movies because budget-wise they don't get that promotion. But you have the VHS series, which were homage to B movies, especially horror movies, and
as well as a great anthology horror movie.
I was going to
as
say,
well.
I feel like Anthology does it best when it comes to the B movies because they don't need it to be long.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite modern day horror comedies, Feast, is all homage to the B film and the over the topness, the sexuality, and the gore. So
There's movies like that, and I respect it when it's done right. And then there are movies, and I'm not shitting on your movie because I watched it and I laughed my ass off. But what was it? Raptor.
The Preacher Raptor?
Preacher
Did you
Raptor.
actually watch that?
I watched it.
I wanted to watch it. How was it? It was what it was. It is what it is.
But that's the thing. It knew what it was.
Okay.
Like, it wasn't trying to be like just a movie. It was going for the dumb jokes. It was going for the ridiculousness. And because it knew that, I thought it was fucking great.
Word.
That's one of the good things too about movies that know that they're going to be shitty, and they just say, let's just up the ante and go all in. Like, that it's a B-list movie. You're probably you're into. That's how most movies I get into that were indie, that were B-list. I'm like, this looks funny. This looks like it's gonna be stupid.
Right. Now
I have an hour and a half to waste. Let me see what this is gonna be. Worst I could say is at least it was stupid.
Now, with that, if you watch Preacher Raptor, god damn it, when the when you see the costume they use for his dinosaur form,
Oh yeah, he's not chasing raptors. He is the raptor.
yeah, it is what it is. But then there's also the genre, and this is what I fall into nowadays. With me and my house, we watch every October we watch just a bunch of different horror movies.
Nice.
We find the weird ones, we find the dumb ones, we go down the list, and we're just like, okay, let's just let's go through it. There's been one where they're bite-sized horror. I want to say it's on Hulu, And some of them are maybe 30 seconds. Some of them are a couple minutes. And it's just quick, you know?
Like in and out, in and out, in and out.
So good. And there's one that's dumb. And it's about a creature that this kid's afraid of. Instagram monster. And his mom's like, well, like taking pictures of him. And he's like, why, mom? Like, I don't want to be on your Instagram. And she's like, well, you took the best years of my life, so, you know, you might as well give me some likes on this social media.
Yeah.
And he's like, don't. If you post it.
Sure that's not Black Mirror?
I'm positive. And he's like, and she gets 20 likes, and she's like, we did it. And it's like, oh, man. One, you're sad. 2, Jesus, lady. And then she's like, if we post it, he's going to come and get me. He's going to come and get me. And she posts it, and this monster comes and kills her. And
Yo.
it's the most ridiculous looking monster I've ever seen.
But is it like a reflection of society? How you use the kids for likes and then they become the problem?
Oh, yeah.
Damn, ma'am.
Meta.
I'm just saying.
So, coming here to the end of this episode, what other honorable mentions do y'all have?
I have 2. One would be Puppet Master from
Ooh,
1989.
I hate
Master.
it. That shit almost made me cry.
And,
Uh-huh.
of course, Nazis play a part in it. Immortality. And the fact that when you fuck with Egyptian reanimation spells, something always going to go wrong. And that was one of my favorite franchises growing up, too. Once I got past the doll shit and I realized they weren't all that scary, it kind of low-key became more of a comedy in the later sequels, just like Chucky. Then also another one would be The Toxic Avenger 1 and 2.
God, yeah.
Because those movies weren't meant to be slapstick, but they became that in the aftermath of his release.
And that's what I like about those is they, from start to finish, the actors are playing their parts as best that they can.
Yes.
But then
Shit goes awry.
Shit goes
And
awry.
once again, I got introduced to the Toxic Avenger as the cartoon on Fox Kids. And then I found out there was a movie first. Then when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, this shit ain't nothing like the cartoon. Where the rest of his squad at?
Yep.
I think it was the Toxic Avengers and the Toxic Squad or some shit like that. The Ooze Boys. It was something weird like that. But no, but at the end of the day, he was a good guy.
He was a good guy.
That was hideous. And he tried to save the day, but people didn't want to be saved by a monster, a la mutants in Marvel comic books. But then you have some of the pretty ones, as the Morlocks would call them. Mm-hmm. So there's that whole dynamic between, are you Frankenstein or are you the monster?
Oh, well, Frankenstein was, you know, the real villain.
Yeah,
there.
he was the real.
Frankenstein's monster
was just a dude.
He was just a dude.
He's just parts. Literally.
Roscoe,
What 80s movie I got for y'all?
what
It is
honorable mentions?
It's a great old franchise called Sleepaway Camp. For y'all that want to know what the greatest B-list movie to Friday the 13th is, Sleepaway Camp. Why? Because there's no reason. It's a bunch of jerk-ass, dick-ass kids and some jerk-ass, dick-ass counselors needing to die. That's all the plot you need to know.
I might watch that one tonight.
These kids are dicks. These counselors are dicks. People gotta die.
Okay.
And it's just pure hilariousness. There's so many baked beans. I can honestly say the first one has so many fucking beans jokes as well as fart. It's just like, all right. Cool.
Okay, yeah. So I gotta go with talking. We have to talk about Troma. And Troma put out the Toxic Avenger series, but they also had a couple other movies. And one of my favorites, Class of Nukem High. And it is B movie to the max. And I'll show you guys the trailer after
It
this.
has sequels.
Oh my God. Let's see. There's Class of Nukem High.
Return to Horror High?
Class of Nukem High 2, Subhuman Meltdown. And 1994, there was Class of Nukem High 3, The Good, The Bad, and The Subhumanoid.
And then there was a remake in 2010.
Yep.
Ew.
Was it also...
Well, it was Return to Nukem High.
Oh, okay.
And then Return to Nukem High, a.k.a. Volume 2.
Damn.
Was Return to Nukem High kind of like the same as Return to Horror High?
So, with this movie,
Oh,
the the freaks, the fucking freaks, man, they get more freaky. And the jocks, man, they're gonna get it this time. And
So is everybody in high school mutated?
not everyone,
But some are.
but the mutated ones become the, highest part of the food chain.
Oh, they become the upper echelon.
Yeah, and they may have been nerds before. They may have been outcasts before. But now Preppy's gonna get it.
Yo, the roles have been reversed.
Yep, and now I'm
Still
gonna.
pretty, but we're pretty ugly.
Troma has so many B-list movies. If you have a chance and you want 80s B-list horror, watch some Troma movies. Seriously. Roscoe, thank you for being here with us today, man. If you guys haven't, make sure you listen to Yo Are the Captions. That you can find
it's
Roscoe
on
there
every Friday.
Every
baby.
Friday. Anything you want to plug, and where can the people find you?
Well, it's too late. You already plugged it. Yo, where the captures at?
Nothing else? Nothing 80s or for horror for the season?
No, not really, because my other recommended 80s B-list movie will be Rubber, and that's a 2000 joint.
So that's not an 80s B-list movie.
Yeah.
You basically just referenced it anyway, so you might as well.
Oh, it's there.
So
yeah,
there
you can
go,
plug
guys.
that. You can
Watch
tell
that
people.
Rubber whenever y'all can.
And wash your rubbers as soon as you can.
No, because that is gross and nasty.
Don't reuse rubbers.
Listen, guys.
But
That's unsanitary.
Rubber works because it's in the vein of 80s
Of an
B
80s B
movies
movie.
as well.
Yeah, as well as make a satire about 80s B movie within it.
And other than, Yo Are the Captions at, where can the people find you?
Roscoe Tenkoya on everything, guys. You know my socials, Discord, Instagram, Facebook, Xbox, Among Us,
All right. Yeah, cool.
places,
Kelsey,
Supernova.
anything you want to plug? And where can the people find you?
Yeah, I'm gonna plug basically the low level version of Gremlins meets, I guess you could say, Critters, and it'll be a movie called Ghoulies.
Oh, not Ghoulies.
And one thing I remember most about Ghoulies is just the poster going to or the video box going to Blockbuster, and it was just a monster peeking his head out the toilet. Because that's one fear in Australia. In Australia, people have a lot because snakes will swim up through the pipes, and just seeing a monster come out of the toilet, be like, oh shit, that could happen. So the whole point of me watching that movie was like to see the monster come out the toilet and eat somebody's butt. Kind of happens, kind of doesn't, but yeah, Ghoulies, and you can find me on Instagram, Snapchat, Kels for Show, Facebook, Kelsey DeAndre Greer, and also you can find us on YouTube now at the THE Escaping Network. That's the name of the channel. Make sure you guys be there this Friday and Saturday to hear our special Halloween episodes. One dealing with demonic possession, the other dealing with haunted houses, and yeah. That's been my time.
All right. You can find me on Facebook, Daniel Rojas. Instagram, don't even bother. I'm still not using it as much as I should. But yeah, our YouTube page, we're getting it loaded as quickly as we can. There is a limit for daily upload, but we will get to where it is coming out as we're posting it here live. We would love for you to let us know what your favorite B horror movie is. Any decade even. Let us know in the comments. Let your friends know. Yeah, we love doing this for you. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram, Escaping Podcast.
Yep.
And if you would like your music featured on your show or know someone else who would, email us at escaping.podcast@gmail.com. Today we are leaving you with Just Plum Lucky by Menagerie. And we actually played them, I want to say 2 weeks ago, another one of their songs, DP.
Yeah.
We really like them, and be sure you check them out. Thank you for letting us be here with you during this spooky, spooky season. We hope that it's safe for you, but still spooky, still scary. We hope that you enjoy the full blue moon that will be happening this Halloween, and that no matter what the future brings, we're all in this together. We'll see you next week, and remember, folks, there can only be one chum bucket.
Yeah. And as always, guys, B movies, bad movies, the budgeting movies, it doesn't matter. What does matter is that y'all guys become an escapee. Stay uncanny, y'all.